what do you think is a key to living a good life?
Just be happy in life, know your whys, and give your best. Just do all you can because the only regrets that you will have in life would be when you knew that you could have done something more or you could have done better and you didn't. Once, if you ever put your 100% into something, and even if you don't get what you wanted at that time, it's fine. You will not regret it, I'm telling you. See, the things that should bother you would be how I'm going to do what I'm going to do. What is my aim? What is my target? What are my resources? These are the questions that should bother you. The questions that shouldn't bother you are, what are my friends going to think about it? What is this person doing? How will this be perceived? See, if those things are still bothering you, then you give yourself more time. And then you have to convince yourself. If you're supposed to do something, then you will do it then. You will have the means, you will have the strength in you to do it. So just focus on the now. And I think that that's a magic that has been a magical advice that has changed me in a lot of ways.
I think I moved into a different plane after listening to that advice.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, okay, I'm just listening to this podcast, and I lost all other senses while I was
Yeah.
listening. So it's very powerful concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, hi Seep. Welcome to the IIT podcast. You're our
Hi,
first
Mohit.
female guest. So thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yay. Hi, thank you for having me and thank you for giving me a platform to talk about life. Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. And the way we start this podcast is put you right where we were in the college IIT, the
Yeah.
4 year or 5 year, the time we
5 years for
spent
me.
there,
Yeah.
5 4 years. So how were you as a student when you look back? How would you say your personality was during those 5 years?
During those 5 years, so before that, I used to be like a very studious, a very reserved person. I'm still a little reserved. But yeah, during IIT, I was not like in the class. I was not one of the studious ones in the class. But then my
Okay.
branch was such that we did not have a lot of like the studious kinds, like in theory, because it was a very creative branch, it was a very practical branch. So yeah, I was mildly creative. I think I would put myself in the middle of the batch. And yeah, I was good. I did fairly well as a student. I used to enjoy the assignments. I was better on the creative side. I was good at it, yeah. I would like to believe.
And how about like clubs and all? Were you part of some clubs?
Yeah, I was in the choreography and dance team, and I was a part of Shitij, the magazine, but I was not a very active member there.
Okay. So you were into dancing, yeah, if you were in the
I was.
choreography. So,
Yeah, so as a
okay.
kid, I have learned Kathak and Bharatnatyam for a few years when I was very young. Then I learned Kathak for about 8 to 9 years. So yeah,
Wow.
I am classically trained as a dancer. So it has always
Gosh.
been my hobby. So that's how I got into the club. I did audition for a lot of things because I thought that, in the 2 years before going to IIT, I was just cut out from all my co-curricular activities, like completely.
Yeah.
So when I went there, I really wanted to, explore a lot of things and participate in things, interact with people. So yeah, even when we used to have our fests and even our department fests and events in the department or other small events, I always involved myself in a small bit or any small bit that I could. So,
Got it. Then I can definitely get tips from you because my wife wants our daughter to learn dance. That's one thing on her
oh,
side. Like she
yeah.
wants her to, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's cool. Like once you learn dance,
Yeah.
because it's such a form of expression. Music is such an
Expression,
integral part.
exercise, everything. It's like this
Yeah.
whole in one thing. It's mental well-being, physical well-being, expression, everything put into one. It's a great thing to pursue. I would totally like support your
Yeah.
wife. You should support her, and you
Yeah.
should make your daughter learn dancing. It's a very good art form to get
Would
involved in.
you would you recommend starting with classical, or does that help transition to Bollywood style music?
Yeah, it's very easy to transition to Bollywood style if you start with Indian classical. But yeah, even
Okay.
I struggled a bit with the Western forms of dancing because I have just, done classical and semi-classical throughout my childhood. So that is the form that I stick to. I'm not very good at hip hop or all the other Western type of dances because they're done a lot more differently, the way that they interpret beats and the way that they catch beats and the way that they express the beats there compared to how we do it in our Indian system. It's very different. So yeah, for me it was a bit tough to shift, but then the kids these days are a lot smarter, and then she doesn't have to stick to
Yeah.
just one form also. She can explore a lot of them, and then the one that she enjoys the most that she can pursue when she's a little older. So you can introduce her to two, three.
At what age, you
Did
think we should get it started?
I started when I was 4. That was
Okay.
when I first started, which is pretty young. But yeah, it helped me. It was, I was always into it, even as a kid. My mom used to say that I used to really enjoy when anything was playing on the radio or in the car or wherever. So it just came naturally to me. So I started when I was 4, and I think it's a good
Okay.
age. But you
I
can
see.
informally start at any time at home, right? Just put on some music
Yeah.
and, just let her feel it, let
Yeah.
her express herself.
That's so true. Like, I feel it's so natural to her whenever there's
Yeah.
a dance music, because so many things are playing on TV.
Uh-huh.
Whenever it's a dance music, she will start dancing. Like, we don't tell her this is dance music, this is a non dance music. Somehow kids just know
They
naturally,
just
and
know,
the
yes.
dance, it's not the same dance. It also depends upon dance. Like, if it's a Sufi kind of dance, she'll just keep
She'll slow
rotating,
down. Oh,
rotating. If
nice.
it's, yeah, her favorite song right now is Calm Down, Calm
Oh,
Down.
nice.
On the,
Yeah.
yeah, she'll just like calm down,
So
and keep,
cute.
bouncing and
Yeah.
sit and stand. So I feel
So
it's very
cute.
natural.
It's very
As we grow
natural.
up, we have some of these hesitations, and we just restrict ourselves.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like dance is so natural to all of us.
Yes.
It's just the
And it has
social
always
conditioning.
been, right? Yeah, it has always been. There were different types of dances throughout history. And even in early civilizations, like dance was always there as a part of society because, yeah, you express, you come together,
Form,
you tell your
yeah.
stories. You
Yeah.
pray through it.
Yeah.
You just, yeah,
Absolutely. So sounds like that's one field where you are passionate, along with many other
yeah,
fields that you are involved in. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Got it. And how was the Shitij experience? Was it a magazine? I remember I
Yeah, it
wasn't
was a
really into
literary
reading.
magazine. So,
Okay.
but then, see, I was not good at creative writing. I still am not. But then I just wanted to like explore that a bit. So I tried, Kshitij. I wrote a poem once for them, and I submitted another article, but then I couldn't really do a lot of like good literary work for them. But yeah, it was good to like read from others and have other people see other people who are good at it. How do they do it? What is their creative process? So yeah, that was one
Gotcha.
thing that I tried to do. I did not succeed a lot, but then I still have some learnings.
Okay.
But
And
that
how
is
were
what
you?
college life should be, right?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people I'm talking to through this podcast, like some people have these regrets that they wish they would have explored it, because back in the days they didn't have that perspective that it's a place to explore, learn more about themselves.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it sounds like you were pretty mature going into college itself, that you wanted to
No.
explore, which is pretty amazing. So let's jump on to your childhood. If you can speak about where were you born, and how was your family? What kind of kid were you? A notorious, a
Okay.
sincere? Yeah.
No, I was a good kid. I was born in Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh. My grandparents, paternal grandparents, used to stay there. And my father, he works for the Indian Railways. So we growing up, it was a transferable job. So we grew up in a lot. I grew up in a lot of parts of the country, a lot of cities. I changed a lot of schools. So yeah, that really helps me right now to like do different things. Or that's why I'm not scared of trying out new things or going to new places because as a kid I've always like my environment used to get changed like so often. So I'm used to like going into a new place, making new friends, and starting a new life over and over again. So yeah. Um, so also that also helped me in the other part of my life, like the thing that I'm pursuing right now. So I think the early seeds of this idea were somehow like sown in that time because as a kid, so I have a younger sister, just for context for everyone. I have a younger sister. She has something called Down syndrome. It's a genetic disorder. So it leads to a lot of learning and developmental disabilities. So she is what you call a special needs person. So while growing up, so in all these small cities, and a lot of them were smaller cities. Now, though I'm in Delhi, so here it was not a problem for her, but in smaller cities, it always used to baffle me as a kid. I used to be confused, when I used to go to school and all the kids in my colony, सब अपने भाई बहन के साथ जा रहे हैं जा रहे हैं. And I used to think, why is my sister not coming to school with me? Like, what is this? Then as I grew a bit older, then I realized that, oh, there aren't schools, where she can go and where she can learn in her way or have people take care of her the way that she should be cared for. And that is why she's not going to school at all. So yeah, my mom used to teach her in at home. She's also a child psychologist, so yeah, I think
Wow.
she God prepared her also for this challenge. So yeah, so she used to. So I was exposed to this whole new, you know, field or like the space where of special needs and people with special needs and how their life is and how as a society we can support them and how we don't as of now. So
Right.
these seeds were sown in my early childhood. Then we moved to Delhi. Then things got better here. We could find centers where she could go. And that time it was high school for me. So then it was the whole IIT prep phase here in Delhi. So then that happened, and then Roorkee happened. Yeah, that was
So
early life.
I see. How did you hear about IIT? Was a relative or parents? When did the dream came? Like I want to do IIT.
So my father is from the same college as us. He is from IIT Roorkee,
Wow.
batch of 1987. So I was exposed to the idea quite early on. We were on a family vacation to Mussoorie once, so we were driving down, and so on the way we stopped at Roorkee for a bit, and my dad drove around the campus, and then he showed that this was my college, this is my hostel, that is my department, and all of that. I think I was in seventh standard or something, so I did not know a lot about IITs and all of that before that. That was my introduction to it as my dad's college, and I remember my
Okay.
mom telling me that yeah, so if you're good in studies and you study well, then you can also come to college like this, and then life would be so nice. See, Papa is like doing so well and all of that. So I think that was drilled into me early on. So I always had this idea. Then coming to Delhi, things were a lot more competitive here compared to the smaller cities that I had lived in before. So here, then that dream got more serious because then I understood that it demands a lot of work. So yeah, then 11th and 12th
I
I
see.
prepared.
Prepare. So your dad was IITian. So you're second generation. Did you knew growing up like my dad is IITian? Did you had that thing or probably not?
No, no, not so much. I did not. I in seventh standard I got to know the concept. So yeah, no, not so much.
Got it.
After
Got
I got
it.
into college, then it felt nice that okay, I'm in the same college as my dad, and so I felt
That's
happy and
special.
proud about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's so
growing up, no,
special.
yeah, it's good.
And how were you in school? Were you topper, top three, top five, growing up?
I used to be, yes. I was a good
Gotcha.
student. I was like
Good.
a teacher's
Yeah,
pet type of student in school.
I see. So,
So
so you're
chosen to
the
be
sim.
class monitor and things like that,
Oh,
and
okay.
topper, and then participating in annual day also, and like that. So that way I was spotted.
Got it. So the very sincere kid doing very good in whatever
Yeah.
you were involved in, whether it's a
Yes.
dance or studies, and so so what complaint your parents would have for you? Like If I ask your parents when when you're in fourth grade, like Seep is doing great everywhere. Tell us one thing that you don't like.
No, see, even though I was good at a lot of things that I used to do, and I used to be popular as a person in school, and I used to talk to people. I used to have a lot of friends, but the one thing that they could complain, and they still do complain, is that I don't talk a lot like about myself. Like, so this whole podcast is also like a very it seemed really daunting to me at first, but then like okay, I took the plunge. So they still feel that no, I don't share like what do you think? What exactly are you thinking? Or what do you feel about this? So they used to tell me, यार सीपी अच्छा है ये कर लो. तो I used to be ठीक है कर लेते हैं. तो पता नहीं कि तुम्हें क्या अच्छा लगता है. They still have that complaint. I'm just reserved like that as a person. Even though I can be talkative and I make friends and I talk to people, but then I just don't like talking about myself. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, okay, got it. And as a dancer, were you performing on stage? So can we say you were very comfortable going onto a stage, performing in front of public
Yeah, I
by the time
started,
you?
yeah. In school, as a kid also, I used to be once. We were posted in a place called Sholapur in MP, and there was this dance competition, and I was the youngest performer on stage. So I was just introduced to it as a kid, so I never really feared it. I never dancing I did not fear, but it wasn't the same for public speaking or something like that. Dancing for me is an easier form of expression than talking. So yeah, that dancing I was not afraid of the stage. For talking, I still am.
Got it. Yeah, normally on podcasts, if someone says, they are a singer, then I can say, can you sing a song? But dancer, I won't make you dance on the
Cool.
podcast. So we
Thank
can
you.
we can we can possibly provide a link of Seep's dance performance in description
Sure.
somewhere if you have it on internet. So
Okay. It's no, I haven't
yeah.
uploaded any, but yeah, okay. Let's see if I do.
Awesome. So from there, if we say about 11, 12, so how was those 2 years? Did you prepare in those 2 years or did you start early from ninth or 10th?
No, I started from 11th. I did not start
11.
from ninth or 10th. 11th, then I got into one of the good coaching institutes in Delhi at that time. It used to be Vidya Mandir classes. So I think that made it easier for me in the sense because the guidance, I think at that age, the guidance that you get is very important because you have to work hard, you have to practice on your own, but you still need that direction and that guidance. So 11th and 12th, I was completely just into studies and practicing and just that, nothing else. No extracurriculars, nothing.
Right.
No holidays, nothing. Just this. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
worked really hard for those 2 years and then paid off in a way, in whatever way.
Absolutely.
So
It's a lot of sacrifices, right? That's what we can say during those 2 years. Everyone
yeah.
who's preparing does. Yeah.
Yeah, see, and I think that goes for everything in life. Like you do a lot of different things in life, as you progress from one thing to the other. So at that time, you should just focus on, something that you want to excel in at that time. So in those 2 years, people should just focus on that aim and that goal and focus on working hard and not think about other things, not get distracted. I think that is what worked for me, that you just dedicate yourself to that and then see बाकी चीजें
God.
बाद में देखेंगे ऐसे ही that's how life goes on
Yeah.
actually.
Sure. So if there's a kid who's in 11th and he's in dilemma, like he or she is in dilemma, like why should I work so hard during these 2 years? 11, 12th high school is, the years when you want to
Yeah,
have maximum fun. So they are in like, do I want to do it or do I want to have fun? Uh, why do you think they should, put so much effort for these 2 years? And does it really help? Is it worth it?
see, I would say it's worth it because like I got through, but I also want to address one thing that it's not the be and end all of life. I totally get that. Like, if you really want to do something in life, so IIT can help you do it. But then, even if you don't get it, you can still do it. Having said that, in life, it is very important to cultivate a sense of discipline and you, hard work. You have to have the habit of working hard. एक आदत डालनी पड़ती है मेहनत करने की. That is very important. So for that, I would say, for those 2 years, just cultivate this habit. You will feel nice, if, when you work hard and it is rewarded, and if you get that early on in life, it will really increase your confidence further on. I'm not saying that you just do this and then life will be rosy and, you wouldn't have to work hard again. No, you will have to work hard forever. But then you have to train yourself for that, and this is the first step in life that if you're getting this, if you have decided to prepare for it, then you treat it as that. You cultivate discipline, you cultivate hard work, and then it will be rewarded, and you will get that sign in life, and that will help you further on. You can motivate by yourself by that experience, and that helps.
Absolutely spot on. That's one first biggest opportunity to
Yeah.
really compete with whole country. So
Exactly. And I think at that age, even though you get the magnitude of it, but then you don't think about it so much because your confidence
yeah,
has not shattered yet. So after you do, then you realize, Kecha, so many people were doing this. Oh, so many people took this exam and this happened. So
yeah,
it helps you. But I'm not saying that people who don't get through, like they can't. Of course they can also, but then अब अगर कोई opportunity है उसमें success मिल गई तो why not go for it?
right,
Now you shouldn't regret कि
right.
I didn't put my 100%. So your aim should always be to give your 100% once you choose to do something. So yeah, people should
Yeah,
look at it like that.
that's my favorite thing. My favorite idol is Rafael Nadal from tennis, and he gives
Uh-huh.
100% all the
All the
time. Like,
time.
if he's playing against a rank 120, 500, he still gives hundred
Giving his
percent.
best.
So
Yeah.
that's definitely true. Now, one thing I want to ask you, see, because my story is little different. I was like
Yes.
70% till 10th, and then I
Okay.
got into it, and I was really into it. But I've seen some kids who were really good from the beginning, but they felt a little bit of a burnout. Like they were already top were the toppers of 6, 7, 8, 9,
Yeah.
10th, and by the time they come 11, 12, they feel a little bit burned out. But not the case with you. So what is it? Why do you think some people get burned out, and why were you not burned out? Just for me to understand.
I think I don't know how this came about, but I never disliked studying as a kid also. Probably because like I was doing a lot. I had my schedule, so I was getting time to play. I was getting time to go to dance class. I was getting time to talk to my friends, to play with my sister. So I never like took it as a burden. Something burns you out if you take it as a burden. तुम्हें मन नहीं कर रहा है, तुम करते जा रहे हो, then you would burn out. But then
Right.
maybe you should, you know, do other things also that make you happy. And somehow I enjoyed studying. Even I used to like the days when you used to have exams in school because मेरे को अच्छा लगता था कि ठीक है पढ़ना है बस और जाके 2 घंटे स्कूल में एग्जाम दे के आना है जल्दी घर आ जाएंगे फिर we read something then we study again. So yeah, so you should just somehow start enjoying what you do. And if you really don't, even like you try to give your heart to it and honestly you do it, and if you still don't enjoy it, then you think of, find something else that you do enjoy because then you won't burn out. So, yeah,
Yeah. I see. Very important that we should enjoy study for some reason. I mean, you are fortunate that you enjoyed study. I would say majority of kids, at least in my friend circle,
really.
study was really at the backlog. Like we only
Yeah,
would do if we had to do it, which should not be the case. If you have a right teacher, right guidance, it's
yeah,
something you can really enjoy, which I did for those 11, 12th year. Like people say, oh, you didn't have any life for those 2 years. I'm like, I enjoyed it, solving those physics problems. The
yeah,
adrenaline
yeah,
is
exactly.
it's possible. Yeah. So yeah, if anyone who's it's possible to enjoy studies. Some people might call you geek, take it as a
Yeah,
pride. It's
yeah,
like that's what the label a lot of kids get when they are
I
very good
know.
at studies, right? Yeah. How was your confidence when we were preparing for 11th, 12th? Were you confident you'll make it through, or was it up and down journey?
See, even at that point, I was just focusing on, we used to have these test series. I think all coaching institutes have it. So I used
Yeah.
to focus from one test series to the other one. And honestly, I
Okay.
did not pay a lot of attention to, rank predictions and ये test, all India test देके देखते हैं, rank prediction आती है, ये आता है. I never
Mm-hmm.
thought of it like that. And yeah, so no, I did not stress about that part, and I did not know if I get through or not. I just knew that okay, I have to give my best right now, and then we'll see. So,
Okay.
and that also works because again, for anyone, don't put that kind of pressure on you at that young age कि यार ये नहीं होगा तो मेरी life खराब हो जाएगी. Not that I was actively thinking of that scenario. I was not thinking of both scenarios. I was just कि अभी I have to just study. मेरा ये test है, I'll do well. ठीक है, ये batch shuffling and all these things used to happen. So I got like a good batch in that also. And so confidence boost था, but then I never used to feel कि यार ठीक है मुझे नहीं पता what is going to happen. Right now I know I need to solve this or today I have to finish this problem set. तो ऐसे करो, just take it step by step and just keep at it. सोचने का टाइम नहीं होना चाहिए कि क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा. ठीक है अभी तो
I
कर
think
रहे
it
हो.
was similar with me. I did not knew the magnitude of what I was going. For
Yeah,
me, it's an
well,
exam. Just do it. It just retrospective. It looks like, oh my god,
yeah, it's
it's
a
it's a
big thing that
tough
happened. Yeah.
competition. Yeah. And how was the exam day after exam? Did you feel confident that it was a good exam?
No, I wasn't actually. My paper one went really well, and my paper two did not go well at all. And I knew it. And I knew that like my chemistry part was it went like really poorly. I knew it after I was out of the exam hall, and I told my parents also that I don't think like I will get like a good rank or whatever, and I didn't actually. But I knew it. I knew it was not like the best that could have happened. But then I'm glad that whatever happened happened. So yeah,
I see.
not
I
very
see.
confident, but ठीक है.
Gotcha. Which one was your favorite among physics, chemistry, maths?
Physics. Physics. All my
Physics?
marks, my total that I got eventually in the exam, major part of it was just physics because chemistry I screwed up in the exam part and I spent a lot of time on chemistry on the paper, so I got less time for maths. So maths got screwed up because of that. Physics was my only saving grace because of which I just made it. So physics used to be my
Gotcha.
favorite. What about you?
Got it. Yeah, physics. I loved
Physics.
physics. A little bit of math, chemistry. No, I mean, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
same.
Physical chemistry. I liked it.
Yeah, that was
Inorganic
new.
was
Yeah,
horrible. Like
inorganic. Sorry.
exception. Inorganic was
Yeah,
just yeah. And I think
true.
that's one common trait I've seen. A lot of people,
Same,
like
I have
physics.
yet to meet people who liked chemistry, who would say that, chemistry I used to enjoy when I was doing it. I just don't meet
Yeah.
anyone. It's always physics or math.
Yeah, I think it could be that, like we are very logical
I
minded
don't know.
people. You need
Yeah,
a lot of rational, so could be that because
probably.
if it's common, then it has to be something, not just me or
Yeah,
you.
I
So
know.
yeah,
True.
okay. So that was your first attempt, and then after first attempt, did you went through the counseling? So uh, were you considering taking a drop, or were you like, no, I'm
No.
gonna go with it?
Yeah, I decided that I would go with it. I knew that I would get architecture at this rank. I did get
Okay.
through other exams also, so I had other non-IT options. But
Okay.
I just wanted to do it. You
Okay.
don't, and you
Got it.
don't like put in a lot of thought also at that time. So even I didn't. I still sometimes don't. So yeah, I just I go. I'm like, ठीक है, अच्छा है, be nice.
Okay.
I'll make drawings also. So I took it.
I see. Got it. So then let's talk about coming into IIT. So you gave your exam, you knew you got architecture. Did you knew about these branches when you were giving IIT? Like you need to get good rank to get CS and mechanical, all that, or was it just IIT is an exam?
No, I was aware of, there are good, better IITs and then there are better branches. I knew all of that, but I never actively
Okay.
thought कि I need to do this, I need to do that. I was not even aware कि
Hmm.
exactly होता क्या है मतलब इस engineering
Hmm.
में, what is it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think anyone's too young at that age to actually know what they're getting into.
Gotcha. All right. Did you know about the male to female sex ratio before going into IIT? How it's going to be like?
Uh, People say that in general only for engineering colleges in India, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, but then it's not something that you actively think about. It
Hmm.
hits you when you are there and then you see कि, okay, we have this like one small first year hostel for girls, which in our time it was not even like a proper hostel. It used to be
Oh,
this residence, not the old Kasturba Bhavan that was there when in our first year. So it used to be some sort of residence first. So we used to have these small flat type things where there were three rooms. So we used to
okay.
have like flatmates and three
Oh, really?
double-seater rooms. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So it was not like a proper like then we moved to Sarojini in second year, and I think after that the new Kasturba Bhavan building also came up. So ours,
Hmm.
I think there were one or two batches that stayed in this transitory sort of temporary
Hmm.
Kasturba Bhavan, which used to be like the small residential type thing
Okay.
connected. But yeah, so yeah, once you're there,
Gotcha.
then it sort of hits you कि अच्छा मतलब okay, there are very few girls, but ठीक है. And like in my
Yeah.
branch, it wasn't such an issue in my batch. So
Yeah.
yeah, I never
Why is
really.
that? Like, why architecture have so many girls compared to any other branch? Is there a reason?
But I don't think that that's a trend, because in my
Oh.
batch it was the case. One batch junior to us also it was the case, but after that, there were very few girls in architecture. I think, and when I was in final year, the new batch that had come in that year, the first year had only one girl in architecture.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
see. So just my minimal data points, which
Or
was giving me
probably,
wrong
yeah,
info.
maybe because I'm more creative. I don't know, but I would not like to say that because now, like in my batch, the
Yeah.
people who are actually into core architecture, who have their own firms and who are actually doing like core architecture jobs, I think all of them are boys in my batch. So I don't know. I would have
Yeah.
said that maybe girls are more creative, but I can't say that because maybe it's just like a random thing.
Yeah, that's my theory because it's based upon ranking. So I won't expect like girls to stack up at a fixed range of rank. It would be throughout,
Yeah,
right? So then
yeah,
every branch should have approximately same. Maybe mechanical less because maybe girls don't
yeah. Girls
prefer to
only
go into
choose that.
that. But
Yeah.
then I couldn't think of reason why girls would prefer to take architecture over maybe some other branch if they have a better rank. So it just random seems
Yeah,
like in
I
our
think it's
case.
random. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
I also don't know of anyone who could have taken another branch but chose architecture. I think in that
Okay.
again in that age, it's all about your rank only. No one is very few people actually know कि I need to do this. Whatever
Yeah,
best people get, whatever the trend is, whatever the best you can get at your
yeah,
rank, people take that. Yeah.
got it. So how was that moment when you realized that you are going to IIT Roorkee? Your dad must be pretty happy with that. I know
Yeah.
what that college is like.
Yeah, my dad was happy.
Yeah.
And everyone was happy. I was also very happy, and that day was really nice. And the rank day was not so nice for me because, of course, I did not get like a really good rank. But then when we got the admit the letter from IIT Roorkee and all that, that day was
Yeah,
like really good. I remember like
got
my
it.
dad was the first one to see it. He came and told me in my room in the morning, and then we called my grandparents, and we were all really happy. My sister did not have a lot of idea of what was actually happening, but she could see that, we're all very happy. So she was also very happy. So yeah, it was a nice day.
Very nice. So I didn't know this about your first year. So on boys' side, they have a Rajendra Bhavan, which is all first year is in one hostel.
Yeah, it's
And
in,
then
yeah. Hmm.
is it similar on girls' side? Do they have one
Yeah, in
hostel
girls' side
for?
also, in our for our batch, yeah, first year girls were completely separate. We had some PhD scholar girls in our hostel, but it was a separate Kasturba Bhavan. It was an old residential faculty block or
Got it.
research scholar residential block or something. So it was segregated. First years was segregated, I think. I think that
Okay.
was,
And
I think for anti-ragging and all also, I guess. I don't know, I'm not
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Yeah, we had a rule like we had a roll call in the beginning days. Rule number one, yes, sir, two. So they would line us up around evening eight, nine,
And
maybe.
okay, so that is like such a core memory for you because it happened like for the first few days. We did it
Yeah.
like for entire 5 years. We had to give our attendance before 10 p.m. in our
Really?
hostels. We had a curfew
Oh,
now in our days now, though thankfully it's not there.
yeah.
But yeah, for
Oh,
us, we had a curfew of 10 p.m. and
what?
9 after 9 p.m. you could not exit the hostel. So if you were outside at 9, you can come back by 10, but 9 के बाद तो बाहर भी नहीं निकल सकते because attendance used to start. So yeah, we gave that
Wow.
attendance
5 years?
throughout. Yeah, whenever we used to go home, we used to do these entries. उस time पे फिर the attendance used to be adjusted. And yeah, it
Oh,
was a pain. This thing was like bad. This was unfair.
yeah.
I'm so grateful that it's not like that anymore.
What if you don't show up in attendance? What do they do? Because I mean, if I'm sleeping at 7 o'clock, I don't want to wake up at 10 to give attendance. That's just messing my
Yeah, so
schedule.
there are, disciplinary, I think some marks are there. Those were
Hmm.
cut if you consistently do it. Your parents
Okay.
would be called. And I don't know, they used to do this. The warden used to take it very strictly.
Wow. If you're sick, if you're feeling sick, you still have to show up there and
No,
give
then someone
attendance.
can go and tell, and then, they can maybe send
Okay.
someone to check, or that was fine. But yeah,
Oh, yeah, we only had for maybe first month, and we also had. I think Rajendra Bhavan main door they used to lock down around 9, 10. I think similar
okay.
rule, but only for
For first
first month or
term.
so.
Okay.
After that, it was then anyone is
Okay.
anywhere and all. So now the interesting question: how about ragging? You guys, girls had ragging there back in the days, or I've heard stories, but want to
See, it
hear.
wasn't as I've heard stories from like my guy friends, and I know that it was more systematically done for boys, and it used to be more serious. But for girls, it was in my branch. Yes, we had this tradition of sorts where we were called during the daytime only to the senior wing, and then it was some sort of intro session, ragging type thing that used to happen. But then it was just a day or two, and then it was fine. It wasn't as intense as it was for the guys.
Got it. So just a mild introduction, little bit. That's about it. Or
Yeah,
maybe that's the only thing you can share on camera.
yeah. Well, because I have heard
Probably.
stories from my guy friends, so then it would be
Okay.
unfair for me to say that we went through something very serious because these guys had it tough. So I would call
Yeah.
it compared to that, I would call it mild and okay. That time it was scary, traumatizing, whatever, uncomfortable. But then compared to
Got it.
what the guys have to go through, so okay, it was a lot less and
Okay.
not frequent also. It was just months.
Okay. Have you heard stories like maybe 30, 40 years ago, senior or slapping juniors? Or was there a physical torture back in the days on that side of the world?
There was ragging, this much I know, even like in my
Okay.
dad's time, but I don't know the
Yeah.
details. He
Okay,
would tell
got it.
me.
I get it. I get it. Let's move on. Let's move on. It's a surprise for people. Figure it out. But
Yeah,
honestly, now you don't. Anyone who's listening, you don't need to worry about it.
don't worry
Nowadays,
about
it's
it.
it's very chill. I think now it might be more like volunteer. Whoever wants to give
Yeah.
ragging, they can give it or so. So so, how was your experience of getting into IIT? Like, you worked really hard for it. You had expectation. You've been to campus with your dad, so you knew it. So, how was those first few days of getting into IIT, where everyone is in IIT and very competitive? Was Seep still the calm and chill out and just doing your thing, or did you feel a little bit of inferiority, like, oh my God, so many talented people? You might be probably most talented among all, so you are the one who's giving
No,
inferiority
no, no.
complex.
No, there was like, see, honestly, there was like some sort of inferiority attached to like my branch. I used to feel that from other people at times. Like, I never felt it personally. But yeah, even during placements and all, companies would open only for BTech and things like
Yeah.
that. So ours was a little different like that, but then we knew it. So I think we were a lot more chill compared to other branches. We were not as competitive also. But yeah, for me, actually, I have been very competitive throughout like my life. So when I came here, then I got a little chill on my own. Somehow I was like, it's okay. I don't know how that happened actually. But yeah, I was not very competitive. I was not. I and I think probably because for 2 years I did not like have a lot of friends. I did not talk to a lot of people, and I did not have like a huge group or something. And I was always used to, going out in the evenings, playing with my friends and all of that. So I missed all of that. So when I came to IIT, I think that is why my focus more was on, let's make good friendships, let's be nice, let's be good. So
Gotcha.
yeah, that made me less competitive.
And also during our high school days, they say, "Bas, 2 साल पढ़ लो फिर life set है." So the mind is also expecting that, like, okay, I worked hard 2 years. Now I'm gonna,
No.
just have fun. That's how it's trained. So I think it's fair, to loosen up a little bit. Well, I loosened up a lot, so I'm favoring that side. So it was good time at IIT. And what would you say to a first year student who's going into IIT? Like how should they strategize over 4 or 5 years? What should they focus on? From your experience, it can really help them, and especially if you
Yeah.
can talk about girls. I don't know if your advice would be different for girls or boys, or you think there are different challenges for girls. If you want to speak about that.
See, what I would say is, when you're going there, of course you need to, you will study hard. You are used to doing that, so keep that up. Don't stress too much about it, but then don't just leave that part out. Also, study well, but with that, I think it's that time in your life, years in your life where you can actually try out and learn a lot of new things. You should really push yourself into doing things that you haven't been able to do in school. Talk to people, make friends, make a lot of friends, because see, these years are literally the years when you're growing up, like mentally. So the friends that you make in these years, they would know you like no other people would in your life, whether you like it or not, because you've grown up together. So get to understand people. That will help you in life. You'll know how to deal with people, you will know how to deal with teams. Then there are a lot of opportunities to explore. You can join clubs, hobby clubs, sports. There's such good facilities you're getting. So just go on that. So yeah, I think you should use this time to explore, build yourself, grow, and yeah, don't and focus on working collaboratively. Don't focus too much on negative competition. Pe focus mat karo. Make friends, learn together, grow together, and yeah, just I think what matters in life is ultimately what makes you happy, and I think this is the first phase of your life where you get to explore that question actually. So do that, and you can start answering that question by trying out more things and seeing what actually makes you happy. What do you really want to do? So that is how you should use this time, but also use the opportunity of what you're going there to learn first. Do that also. Don't let that go. Do that and then explore yourself.
Gotcha. And how did you figure out, like, what you wanted to do after you graduate? At what point? Or because there's so many options, right? When you're graduating, you can do CAT, and you can do MS, IAS, all those options. So how did you figure out? And maybe that helps people understand how can they figure out, or maybe it's tricky.
See, again, I don't think I would be the best example for this, but I'll tell my story. So somewhere or the other, like what I'm actually doing right now, I somewhere knew that I have to do something like this, but I did not have any plan in place, or I did not even have a timeline. It was just कि ठीक है, sometime I will do this. It can be any time, maybe after 20 years when I make a lot of money, then I'll do it, or whatever. I was not actively thinking about that, but somewhere this
Yeah.
was there, and that too, that's why in our final year, our final term is just our thesis term where we have to do this entire project of one building or whatever you choose. So right from scratch, you have to, do a site analysis, then the plans and everything. Anyway, so my topic for that also was a special school. So somehow, like
I
I
see.
was working towards this subconsciously. But yeah, I think my explorer mode went on for a while. And I think it's totally okay as long as like whatever opportunity you're getting, you utilize it well and you do the best that you can. So I did not, honestly, I did not have a set plan. I just knew कि ठीक है, I'll figure out whatever I'm good at, I'll do that. I did. I think I thought about UPSC also, and then MBA. In fact, I did not actively think about, but yeah, I took the exam and then I got through. And then after that, I realized that, Extra is a good college and it's ranked like well and everything. So why not? If I'm getting this opportunity, why not? So that's how I have done it. But yeah, I think there are people who are more conscious of what they want and how they want it. I knew what I wanted, but I did not figure out the how for quite some time. That's not one of them,
Gotcha.
but yeah, I was figuring out on the way, making the best of whatever was coming to me, and that is how the MBA happened.
I would say I don't have percentage, but I would think a lot of students don't really know what do they want to do when they graduate.
Yeah,
Based upon my experience, very few actually have that awareness. Because for us to know what I want to do, at least I should know what all options are there, which is a learning process when you
yes,
are there. So
yeah,
at that point, it just seems like whatever is the next step, do that, simultaneously explore
explore.
uh,
Yeah,
other parts of life has to offer what you can do. So let's dive into a little bit after you graduate, or maybe if you can speak a little bit about now is a good topic. So you're doing the social work right now, Leher Foundation.
yeah.
So you said you had this idea, you wanted to do this. Could you recall around when did you get this idea, or you had this thought that you want to do it?
So, see, like I said, in my childhood, I understood the lack of, the lack of work that is being done in this field. I understood that as a very young kid because of my sister. And my sister's name is Leher, and so Leher Foundation is named on her. So when we moved to Delhi, which was I think in ninth standard, around yeah, ninth, 10th. So then, when she started going to these organizations that run centers for special needs, that's when I used to go and volunteer. That's how I interacted with people from this field, and I was introduced to this field. I did not think of pursuing it again at that time as you know a degree because again I was like very studious at school and all of that. So people are good at studies and people expect them to okay, अब your exam then, and I don't regret that. So yeah, I was exposed to this whole field of work and
Okay.
what goes on to it into it, and I always wanted to contribute in some way. Somehow I got the opportunity to do it actively. But even if this weren't the case, I would have been contributing to this in whatever capacity I could have or I can in the future.
Got
So
it.
yeah, this thing was on my mind for quite some time. Then I went for my MBA. When I was going for my MBA, before that also I had a small opportunity where I could have started like something on a smaller scale and then seen where, but then I got an admit from XNRI. And I thought, okay, fine, if life is giving me this opportunity to learn more, maybe I need this to actually do that work. So I was more sorted in my head before going to MBA कि after this, soon after this, sometime I will, go into this field. So that is why I
Got it.
remember like in my YMBA interviews also, for admission, I told the panel that, I want to, open a special school and I think, this, I need some more managerial abilities and, I need to learn more. And that is why I want to do my MBA. And then I don't know, maybe I was not convincing enough. The professor on the panel told me that, just tell me the exact reason. I don't want to, listen to this social cost story or anything. People just come and say all this, then they go to these FMCGs only, and then they see कि किसका package ज़्यादा है, वहाँ जाना है. So just tell me the actual reason. And then, like, I couldn't answer that properly, but then I got in, And the
Mm.
day like I opened Nayasha. That day I did
Mm-hmm.
I posted on Facebook and then I sent a link of that post with a message to that
Yeah.
professor, sir, I was not lying and I really wanted to do this and college really did help me do this better. So yeah, I was clear on it before MBA. But then after MBA
Got
also
it.
I got into a job. I also thought that, it'll be easier for me to do it if I have, more money of my own to start
Mm-hmm.
it. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
needed to work some time for that also and have these savings so that I'm more comfortable, more confident in what I'm doing. And
Mm-hmm.
also that it helps you a lot, working in a
Mm-hmm.
setup, and
Yeah.
that helped me setting up my own organization. So yeah,
Gotcha. Which is amazing, which is, I think a lot of our batchmates are proud of that you're doing this social work, which really inspires us all to do in our own capabilities what we can do. So I just want to thank you for, leading that
that's a
charge
huge
and
statement. I
inspiring
don't
us.
think I am doing something so huge yet. I am trying, yes, do more, but everyone can do their bit. And I think all of us are good people and we are doing our bit in our own ways. So yeah, just that I'm more directly involved in it. But then yeah, not everyone can be directly involved in it. So some people have to be in this life. I am that person. So yeah.
So you had this idea of starting a sort of a facility school for special kids, and you were thinking about it in college of doing it after college, and then you got MBA opportunity. So during whole this process, did you talk with your parents like, this is what I want to do? Were they supportive of it, or how was uh, that side of the conversation?
Yeah, my parents were aware of it, and some of my friends also were aware of it more in MBA. Yeah, I was lucky enough to have support from all sides, and yeah, people really did motivate me a lot, even when I was finally like taking the step of, like going ahead with it. And when I was putting in my final resignation also, okay, now, okay, this is
Yeah.
going to be full time. I had a lot of support from my friends, my family, my cousins, and that really did help me because somehow, like for my family and my close friends, they know like what this is. I won't call it an issue, but then they knew this, way of looking at the world, and they knew that this is something that people face. And so they knew that, I would be happy working in this field. So I had that support from all of them, and I still have it from them. And it
Got
means a
it.
lot.
Yeah. So how was that? Was that a tough decision or very thoughtful decision to leave a job in a corporate world in a marketing department
True.
and
Yeah.
then go social work? Like these are the two extreme of the life a person
I
can have.
know.
On
I
one
know.
side it's marketing, and other side
Yeah,
is
marketing
social
and
work.
growth. And then, yeah, I
Yeah.
know. So wait, see, I treat everything as a learning process. I learned a lot of things in that job that do help me now. But then, having said that, I would also say I had to unlearn a lot of things because, your mind sort of is in another, it sets into this different pattern when you're working in a corporate setup, or if you're, for me, it was a marketing and growth role. So it was a lot about numbers and targets and money and profit. And, that is how I got wired. That is how I used to look at everything, like the value of everything. And that was my job. Now, to actually work for something where the impact is not per se directly quantifiable. So, how do you set your goal now? How do you like motivate yourself? How do you make your targets, and what is it that you work for if it's not profits? Because now I feel it's easier to work for just profits. It's easy, इतना raw material लो, ये लो, इतना cost दिया,
Yeah.
इतना आ गया, इतने में बेचो, पैसा आ गया. That seems a lot
Uh-huh.
easy. But now so I feel motivated because I know the impact. But then when you
Uh-huh.
have to run a team, how do you set targets for them? How do you keep them motivated? What do you do? So all those things, I had to unlearn that part and learn it in a different way. But yeah, it was a big switch, and I would say that it is difficult, and especially for people like us, because see again, we have been in very competitive environments. We have been competitive people to be like in an IIT and then be there with all these brilliant minds and you know. So to actually, it also feels like I don't know, not a lot of people are doing this. And before this, like everything that I did was mainstream. Like I was doing good things. I was doing things that were success, like perceived as successful by the majority, always. You know, so yeah,
Yeah.
that way it is difficult to transition into something where probably because the world would look at it differently, oh, that job was so much better or this and that. That transition is a bit difficult if you let those things into your head. But then once you see what work is happening and then you meet these parents who are happy, you see these kids and then it changes. So yeah, you have to keep at it. I won't, There were dark days, but
Yeah.
then you have to keep at it. And then you should know why you're doing what, and then it works out.
God. So I'm getting this idea I want to share with you. Like you guys, I don't know, you already have a YouTube channel, or you should create one just to educate people and things that
Yeah.
you are doing.
Yeah, that is in the pipeline actually, to have these
Okay.
educational simple activities and videos for people and what they can do. Right now we try to put small things on Instagram and Facebook, but yeah, we do have that in the pipeline to do.
God.
There's a lot of things to do in this field actually, because not a lot of is being done. It is being done, so it's a playground to explore whatever you want to.
Got it. So right now, if anyone wants to learn more about it, they can go to the Instagram channel
Yeah,
and
they
educate
can.
themselves on,
They
on,
can.
on that side.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. So this is right time to talk about the idea of Leher Foundation and the work you have done. So if you can speak to audience about the work that you're doing right now with this foundation.
Yeah. So, so right now, so Leher Foundation is actually it's an NGO with the objective of working in the field of people with special needs. When I say special needs, I talk about a lot of developmental and learning disorders. There are a lot of physical disorders and a lot of challenges that people face, a lot of conditions that we cater to right now. We cater to people on the autism spectrum disorder, we have people with Down syndrome, we have people with cerebral palsy, other learning disabilities, or ADHD, or other things that we cater to. Neurodivergent, that is the term that is in these days. So, yeah, a
Okay.
lot of neurodivergent people that we cater to. Our aim is to so how it works right now is, see, right now things are getting better in our country, especially in bigger cities. Now all the mainstream schools, uh, they have to have, a special educator up until a certain class. So they need to have a certain amount of special needs students in their classrooms. So that is good if done well. So we like to cater to the audience right now, which is a little bit more on the, I won't like to call it severe side, but yeah, are in a more who are facing more challenges, because not everyone can actually truly get integrated in a mainstream school. So we want to create an environment where we don't say no to any new admissions. Like because we have faced, like my sister has faced not getting admissions in a lot of places, and being turned down as too severe and we can't manage and all of that. So our philosophy is to keep our doors open to anyone that we can cater to until like we can do what is beneficial for them. So we when we get queries for admission, we call them, we assess them on different parameters. So we have special education services. There are occupational therapy, which is for sensory integration, physiotherapy, speech therapy, dance, music. We have counselors. So we like to prepare a program catering specifically to that individual, and we try to, do a holistic assessment, and then we make individualized programs. And so, yeah, this is our first step. This is our first learning center. Our next, we have things in the pipeline. We are working on developing a sports academy. on
mm,
developing some sort of worksheets and publication side, teaching learning materials
mm,
that people can use. Then,
mm,
yeah, we also provide support to parents and siblings of these students, our students, because, like,
mhm,
again, that is something that I have faced personally. So I know, like, the things and the questions that go through their minds. We also want to set up, like, this assisted living community with the support of parents, and that is also something that is in the pipeline, but it'll take some
mhm,
time because
mm.
yeah, that is a very big question for most of the parents. And I don't want to paint this podcast into something very serious, but yeah, I think as a society, we all need to think about this question is that, all these parents are worried about,
Yeah,
what after us? These are our kids, of course, like we are older. And
yeah,
then, so that is actually one question that I really want to
mhm,
address in as soon as
mm.
I can, whenever like we have the capacity to do it, is to we should do this. We should have an assisted living for
Got it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's a
one thing
rough idea. I
I
know it's a very new and different
yeah,
field for anyone to talk about. So I don't know if I was able to give you an idea of what we actually do, but yeah, you
yeah,
can ask me if you have
yeah.
any queries.
Like the one question I have is, parents take care of special kids to the extent they can, but they always have this worry, as age goes on, what's next for them. So, what happens in today's scenario with those kids? If you can speak about that, because that seems very hard on them.
Yeah, see, most cases there's family support, community support that is there, and but there are facilities that have come up in India now. There is a very good
Okay.
one in Bangalore. There are things coming up in Chennai. A lot of parents have already done it in different parts of the country. What the things that I want to do here,
Mm,
that people have built these communities, these residential spaces where it's going. But yeah, there's a long way to go. Like maybe we're not
mm,
even aware of cases where
mm,
there's no one. Like I don't know. I don't want to think about it. But
mm.
yeah, it is
Yeah.
difficult. It is not being addressed.
Got it. So the idea is we can have facilities where they can be taken care for a long term, like
Yeah,
assisted living, you're
like
saying.
assisted living,
Yeah,
yeah, in the US for older people, right?
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
that is something that can be done, that should be done. That is
Mm-hmm.
a solution. Another thing is that, to identify, see, a lot of the people that we get, like the students that we have, even though they would not do well in mainstream colleges or schools, but sometimes they have a good skill of their own and that we as a society fail to tap. So yeah, maybe another thing
Yeah.
that we are going into is to have these small vocational type of training that can be given
Mm-hmm.
to our younger adults. Maybe something very small, yeah, maybe like just, you know, xeroxing, photocopying, something where they can set up a small business of their own, a cafe,
Mm-hmm.
or for,
Mm-hmm.
girls, something like related to beauty or, something that they can work
Mm.
on, like a bakery. That is also,
Got it.
something that can be promoted. So
Got
yeah,
it. So trying to engage them in a business or some
in
sort of
some meaningful
revenue,
work where they can have like
meaningful.
some money of their
Yeah.
own, because if their
Mm-hmm.
parents don't support them, even if they want to,
Yeah.
do things on their
Mm-hmm.
own, very few people do things for free, right? So it is always good to make them financially independent somehow.
Got it. Gotcha. Okay. So a lot of things on the pipeline, and I'm guessing
Yeah,
as you're getting more involved, you'll be getting a lot of ideas.
a lot
So
of more
you're trying
ideas,
to
yes.
prioritize those, and I think with internet, maybe it's a good time that for people can contribute in different
Yeah,
ways. So
yeah.
wish you good luck on the
Thank
journey,
you. Thank you so much.
and anything that our podcast can do, feel free to leverage it. It's not that big right now, so but I'm positive in future it gets very big, and I can
I'm
use
sure
this
it
to
will.
you know thank
Of
you.
course, no,
Yeah,
they can, see our work on our social media
yeah.
links, and, people can educate themselves maybe through us and just get more aware of this field. Maybe I will get more new ideas from people. See if this can also be done, or, you can try this, and that'll be great
Yeah,
because, yeah, we're just starting out, and everyone is in this field, not there is a lot
Hmm.
that needs to be done. There's scope for a lot to be done. So yeah, I it's a good platform for me also to talk about this, and so people would get to know about, this field
Yeah.
of work.
So, one question I want to ask you, which is in my head and probably in the head of a lot of people, is uh, on one side you work in this corporation or business, which is mainly to get profits, to get money, to support our own families, which is our responsibility. And on
Yeah,
the other side is, everyone have this desire to do good for the world. Everyone, and especially today's days, I think with these YouTube and videos, everyone feel you have to be selfless at some point of time in your life.
yeah,
So uh, for you made a big jump from moving from this world into another world, right? So if someone is on that fence, like they really want to move into that field, but then they are also having their own doubts, probably what people are going to think about it, how are they going to, do they feel like their peers are making progress in a different way? So all those
mm,
doubts, we have in our mind, and I'm guessing you would have gone through that phase.
yeah.
So what helped you make that call, that yeah, I'll switch here.
See, again, I would start out by saying that, you know, again, not every. See, for me, I knew that I cannot do this corporate job for long because just like money as a motivating factor will not work out for long. But then, having said that, you also have to like first see when you have the capability of doing it, you should first make yourself financially secure, make people dependent on you financially secure. That will give you more confidence also to move ahead in a field, especially an impact oriented field, because it's tough. These fields are tough. You have to find your motivation every day. You have to support it maybe by your own means, if things are not working out some months. So you have to, only when you are tension free for yourself can you help others. So yeah, that is always there. And then again, like, not everyone has to leave everything behind to do this. Not everyone has to. Some people have to, some people have to do it completely, and some people are doing it. It's okay if you feel that you cannot like completely detach yourself from that and get into it. No, there are always ways to do good, whatever you choose to do. So it just would come back to what makes you happy. For me personally, see, my sister was going to a center already, so I was volunteering that over there when my corporate job was there. So that was also fulfilling for me in a lot of ways. So when COVID hit, so a lot of these smaller centers faced problems like for funding and all of that, so they shut down. So for me, that was the push that I got. Like I got requests, the from the center that my sister was going to, and then so that turning point came for me in that sense. Ki, okay, now let's do this. Let's make the switch. So when that push comes, if you have put a thought out there, that push will come when the time is right. So if you feel it and if you know, then you just think properly and okay, how you're going to do this, what your plan of action will be, and then just make the switch. See, the things that should bother you would be how I'm going to do what I'm going to do. What is my aim? What is my target? What are my resources? These are the questions that should bother you. The questions that shouldn't bother you are, what are my friends going to think about it? What is this person doing? How will this be perceived? See, if those things are still bothering you, then you give yourself more time. And then you have to convince yourself. If you're able to reason out with yourself, कि ठीक है, I will be able to, take this because this is fulfilling to me in these ways. So that balance should be there in your head first, and you have to remind yourself of that. Of course you will have bad days, you will have these doubts, they come, but they will come in your job also. It's okay, but your thing should be clear in your head, your why should be clear in your head. And like I said, like sometime before, eventually all comes down to in life, like what makes you happy. So if you if this thing falls into the answer to what makes you happy, then go for it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Like we need to reason it out in our own head first.
Yeah.
That's critical. Gotta
See, for
convince
me, the
ourselves
reason was
first.
really personal. Like, it was something that I have grown up with. So then that made it easy for me to, convince myself to do it. And, because I knew a lot about it, because I've grown up with this. So yeah, that also worked for me. It is difficult also at times because this makes me a lot more emotional and passionate for what I'm doing now compared to like my previous job. So yeah, setbacks also, affect me a lot more. So it's yeah, it's tricky like that. But yeah,
Gotcha.
once your why is clear, then it's easy.
Got it. Hey, I don't know how to feel about it to bring all these tough questions and making you feel more
No,
emotional
no.
about it. But I want to thank you for, speaking
Thank
about.
you.
It's not easy. So I want to appreciate that, especially, being
Thank
willing
you.
to open about this topic. So thanks.
No, no, I love talking about this topic, and more people should know about it. And
Yeah, absolutely. So now I want to move on to a little bit into your, work experience. You worked as architect, and if I'm not wrong, you worked in like Delhi, London, and Belgium.
yeah, I
So
did two
how
internships, one in London and one in Ghent, Belgium. Yes.
God? So what are your key observations, like difference in the culture between India and then Europe, also like London, Belgium. What were some key or funny incidents you recall?
Um, I'll have to think of the funny incidents, but yeah, the difference comes in these fields by the nature of the work because a lot of the building codes, bylaws, standards, and all are different. The way in which construction, planning, management is done is different in different countries. So that inherent difference is there. Apart from that, I think again, like I said, ki I'm more inclined on the creative side of things. So I feel that Belgium or Europe gave more freedom in that sense. Like architects there, and like my Belgian firm, over there I felt architects had like a lot more power over the entire like process of construction and everything, as opposed to here where a lot is in the hands of the civil engineers, structural engineers, and other constraints. Like you can't like just go all out with your creativity and do it. There's resource constraint. There's a lot of other things. So there is a lot more freedom that I felt like personally in my short experience that was there in Europe. And yeah, otherwise, also the work culture is a lot more chill. Oh, it was a lot more chill in Belgium. Weekends were completely free. Friday, everyone used to leave. Like from Thursday, people used to be
Yeah,
excited that, people are just talking.
yeah,
Ki, oh, tomorrow is Friday. Where are you going? Where do we meet? And are you meeting friends? And we'll go out here. And Thursday से ही mood एकदम change हो जाता
yeah,
था. Friday, people used to leave early. Weekends, like, I don't think anyone is thinking of work, which is very healthy, which was not the case in Delhi at all. So, yeah, that way it was more balanced there. London was more
yeah.
stressful than Belgium, but yeah, not as much as Delhi. So there the
Got it.
balance is there, and you're
Yeah.
more free to do more things.
Sure. I wanna share the human greed element here, Seep. So when I
Yeah.
was working for Hero, we used to work 6 7 days a week. So then when I started this job, it's 5 day a job. I was like, wow, this is amazing. But then you get used to it, and now people feel like,
Yeah.
can we have 4 day a week? so so
Exactly.
with
Yeah, I know
humans,
those.
I yeah, I like humans, this element of adaptation, which is good. If you're in a worse condition, you get adapted to it, and then
Yeah.
this is how it is.
True.
But
True.
same in good as well. You get good things, you get used to it, and then you
Used to
need
it.
something
You
new.
need better things.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
creator is a genius, pure genius.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
fan of
definitely.
creator. So. Okay, so talking about creation, see, what do you think your next 15 to 30 years looks like? I know it's a very hypothetical question and who knows what happens, but just, how are you thinking what you would be doing next 15, 30 years?
Again, see, I know I have these plans in my head that I want to work on. I need to focus on a lot of new services that we can provide. And speaking from the Hair Foundation's point of view here, I've already outlined all the things that we want to do. Speaking from a personal point of view, I want to grow more as a person. I need to understand myself more as a person. I need to understand my mind more. I need to focus some, I don't know, I need to explore the spiritual side. I need to do some study in that direction with my work. So yeah, I just focus on growing actually. So I just hope that I evolve more in the next 15 to 30 years. And yeah, 15 years back, it was 2008. So I think we were in 12th standard, going to take JE next year. So yeah, who
Yeah.
knew then that we would be sitting here and talking about life like this?
Oh
So we
no.
don't know what the next
Yeah,
15 years
yeah,
bring. But yeah.
absolutely. So you did talk about your interest in exploring the spiritual realm, which I'm very passionate about, and philosophy, psychology,
Hmm.
all that.
Yeah.
So one of the question that is very common in that field is what is purpose of life? That's a very fundamental question.
Hmm.
So I want to give you that loaded, heavy question.
I
I would
know.
like to.
I That is, I don't know if I'll be able to answer this question now or in 15 years, actually. But from what I know and from how I have led my life is this, and I've talked about this. I think everyone just wants to be happy eventually. So that is what I would put is as my purpose in life. I want to be happy. I want to make people around me happy. I want to, you know, make people more empathetic in their life, especially in the field that I'm working in now. We get a lot of sympathy, but what we need is empathy. We want people to just understand each other a lot more. And if I can make a small difference in that field, I think that'll make me happy and that will make my life purposeful.
Got it. So it's about being happy. Whatever makes you happy, you're gonna
Yeah.
continue to figure out and do
Yeah,
it
I mean,
and
but it
continue to
works
do
like
it.
after a certain point in life when you have developed some level of maturity, some I hope to believe that I have developed that and you have a good sense of right and wrong, then yeah, then you can focus on what makes you happy and do it.
Got it. Yeah, that's also very interesting topic. Like figuring out what makes you happy is so tricky, Seep. I'll
Yeah.
tell you. Like this morning, I was thinking about it. So I was playing pickleball this morning, and the thing
Yeah.
is, you see two courts. On one court really good players are playing, on
Yeah.
other court beginners are playing. You would notice that the beginners are having much more
Much more
fun than
fun.
the really
Yeah.
good player, and I felt like,
Yeah.
why is that? And my analysis is, when I'm starting something new, my expectation is I'm not gonna do good. So when I don't do good, it's a
Mm,
neutral experience. But by accident, I do a one or two good shot, then I'm like, wow, it's a positive experience. So
yeah.
the neutral plus positive, net positive.
Yeah.
Whereas after some time, the expectations are high. So
Yeah.
if I play
True.
a good shot, it's neutral now. And when I
Yeah.
play a bad
Right.
shot, it's a negative. So neutral negative, it's net negative. I was telling my partner, like, dude, this is frustrating experience now. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that. And it keeps evolving so
It
much.
keeps evolving.
Yeah, like I play something in beginning, you are happy, you're enjoying it, but not guaranteed. Like tomorrow, it can change. So it just consistently,
Yeah.
just evaluation is required in this space. So
That is what, whenever you choose to do something, just clear it out with yourself कि why मेरे को क्यों करना है ये.
Why?
And if
Yeah.
it's like कि यार ठीक है, I'm doing this for my body, I'm doing this for my mind, I'm doing this to be happy, fine. Then if you ever start taking stress कि oh I want to be ranked well also in this and that, then you just remind yourself of your why. Why did I want to
Mm,
do this? Yeah.
yeah. Do you think about that a lot? Like, whatever things you're doing in life, why are you doing what you're doing?
The major decisions, yes, because I need to be convinced, this has been a new learning for me after this, transitioning into this field of work. Because then initially I had to constantly tell myself, why am I doing this? Because things will bother you. And then I've started using it in other aspects of my life also, and it helps.
Gotcha. Are you big on planning? Like, do you plan out your days, like routine and schedules and all that?
I do, but now I don't fret a lot if by chance, like, if those are not met completely. But I do like to schedule and plan my life. But I'm okay
Gotcha.
if, things don't work out like that also. But I do
Got it.
schedule day to day. I think that discipline is important in life.
Yeah. Yeah. So disciplined person, but if things doesn't work out the way planned, that's okay. That doesn't bother. It
Yeah.
should not
As
bother
long as
you.
I
Yeah.
did what I could, but yeah, there are things that are not in your control a lot of times, and then you have to surrender that control a lot of times. So it's okay.
Very good, Seep. So we'll move on to our next segment, which is a rapid fire round. So
Ooh.
uh,
Okay then.
to see your personality. So the first set of questions are just either or. We just would like to know your preference. I'll
Okay,
give
no
you two
reason.
options.
Okay.
No, yeah. If you feel you need to give a reason, go for it.
Okay.
So texting or talking,
Texting. Saying that on a podcast, but yeah.
indoor or outdoors,
Outdoor.
competition or collaboration.
Collaboration. No, yeah.
What's more important, end result or journey?
That is tricky, but the way I look at it, like it's never the end. It's from one journey to another. So the journey.
Would you prefer teaching, like learning from a guru or self-learning?
Both. Learning anyway.
Got it. Would you rather would like to talk to all the animals or learn all the languages?
Talk to all the animals. I have Google Translate for languages, but nothing for the animals.
Which animal would you like to, talk first?
All of them. It'd be so nice. Like there's this little dog that is, that comes around our center all the time. And then he just comes there and he sits where our school vans are parked. And he would not like bother anyone, the kids and all. And I just don't know why sometimes like I feel so positive when I, see him there. So it would be nice to know, what he is thinking, how his day was, what is he doing here. But yeah, that apart, there is still a lot that we need to learn from nature and
Yeah.
yeah, animals for sure.
What would you ask if you can ask a question to that dog? What would you want to know?
I just want to like what draws him there like all the time and what is he observing the whole day. It'd just be nice to know like this perspective that we have no idea about, right?
Yeah, definitely fascinating. I mean, we kind of know a little bit about each other, a little bit,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
about them,
yeah, nothing.
not much. Would you prefer to be a book smart or a street smart?
Street smart, street smart. You have to be street smart.
I would say you're both then because you had good marks and you have a good
No,
sense
I,
of
I, I
streets.
like to be more street smart. I am not that street smart, but yeah, I would like to be more street smart.
I feel like it's a pendulum. Sometimes we are more on this side, then we try to
Yeah,
come to this side, and so finding that
yeah,
perfect balance
the
is
perfect balance. Yes,
what we are striving for. So,
true.
would you climb a mountain or jump from a plane?
Oh, I would jump from a plane.
Have you done that?
I have done that, so yeah, the
Okay,
security
good.
of knowing what that would be like is okay.
Got it. So, was it what they call skydiving?
Okay. Yeah, tandem
Yeah,
skydive. So I was with like this diver.
got it.
So yeah.
Was it scary?
It was scary. So I went actually, we were on a family trip and then we saw this somewhere. Saw this brochure in our hotel. And then my father and I decided that, we would go. And I was like all pumped up before going. Once I was there, I don't know, I was just so scared. So they took us on a small plane on top, and I happened to be the last person. I don't know why we were seated like that, what logic was there. I was the last person to jump off. So I saw everyone jump. And that scared me a lot. So by the time I reached, I was telling my driver that I don't want to do this, we just go back. And he's like, your father just jumped, okay? So like, come on. So yeah. But then it was nice once you take the plunge. And that is what life is also. Once you take the plunge and then things
Yeah,
are easy.
yeah.
It's
Taking
just
that,
that leap of faith, yeah.
yeah, that feels like even if we have a lot of experience, it's always scary.
Yeah, yeah.
It
It is.
it becomes less scary, right? But still, that feeling
So
is there,
scary.
right? Yeah. So now I'll ask you some technology question. I'm a fan of technology, which is allowing us to
I
do this.
am not. Oh, I will be so poor in this section,
No,
but
it's just
okay.
basic question. It's not. I'm not going to ask you to code a website here. It's basic, like
I
how
couldn't.
many minutes after you wake up you check your phone.
Okay, yeah, yeah, fine.
Yeah. So that's a question. How like do you take? You just check your phone as soon as you wake up, or you take
I
some
I did
time?
that for a lot of like years. Now, very recently, I have honestly started working on this, that it shouldn't be the first thing that I do. And yeah, so now I try to put it off until like I'm ready for
You're
work,
ready.
and then I lift my phone.
Got it. And what is your last Google search?
So we were going to record this on my laptop. So I was searching how good or bad the webcam quality of this laptop is. So that was my last Google search.
Got it. Got it. Very helpful. Right. Yeah. And are you active on social media? And how frequently do you post
Yeah, I am mildly active. I like to post things with friends or whenever I'm doing something new. I have to be more active on social media I do like everything for my organization right now. Like, so I run the social media also. So right now, I gave myself a 2 week break because it was summers. Otherwise, for that, I post like 3 or 4 times a week there. So yeah, I have to be active on social media.
Yeah, it's helpful because the work you're doing, I think more people know, like the
Yeah,
video, how we got connected. I saw the video where your
yeah.
team was giving you flowers, and that was so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
moving.
It was my birthday. Yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah, I
was your
remember I
birthday.
received an FB
Yeah,
message from you that day.
yeah.
Yeah.
That then I'm that gave me an impression that you would be willing to talk about it because there's so many people around you and you were so
Yeah.
generous and thankful. So I was like, maybe I should try and ask her about it. And that's how we are
And that
here.
worked out. Yeah.
Yeah. And what are the top three apps you are using the most on your phone?
Just talked about social media. So yeah, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah. That's so
Those
sad,
three.
but yes.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like it's something similar to studies, like we can we can enjoy these, but it's difficult because the
Yeah.
algorithms and all that just
Yeah.
gets it. If we use
Yes.
it rightly, it's good, which is tough. It's not
Which
easy.
is
I
tough.
get into it. I try to use it very disciplined, but when the mood is not good and all, So,
Yeah.
but I have hope from you. I want to say if anyone can enjoy social media, it should be you with your experience of enjoying studies and all. So looking
No, I
forward to.
do enjoy it a bit. Sometimes though it works against you because the algorithm, right? I don't know how it
Yeah.
works or whatever. But sometimes like I said, there are dark days and there are phases that you have in life when you're going through
Yeah.
something serious and bad, and maybe when you started watching something related to that, you like two three posts, and then when you're out of it and you just don't want to see it again, but you still for a lot of days you will be fed that type of material and this and
Yeah.
that, so that gets too much when you're trying to like move away from something, or even not something dark, even if something that is irritating. If you've seen it two, three times, then you don't want to see it again. There's no way to like tell it not to show you a certain type of content or certain topics, and that gets to you. But yeah, okay.
I I feel you. I feel you. So this 2 week break was a good break, taking a
Yeah,
summer break. Yeah.
yeah, it was good. And next week we open again, and then it's a new term for us at the foundation.
Gotcha. So are these 6 months term or a full year terms
So
or
again,
monthly?
see, there are no, I just called it a term, like a session,
Uh-huh.
I should say.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
since we don't have like a system of having proper classrooms, right? So there's no, it's just individual. We give them quarterly plans actually. That is what we work on. There are 3 month
Got it.
plans, and yeah,
I see. And see, do you know about Montessori?
I
Have
do, I
have you?
do. We
Okay.
don't follow it in our center, but yeah, I am aware.
Got it. It reminds me because I was reading that book when I became father. Like, okay, what
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
Montessori? Everyone was saying, and
yeah.
what her story is like. She took a group of students who were less. I don't know. They were at a different par than rest of the groups. She was
Mhm.
teaching, and they got more marks than the
And
normal kids.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, so just thought of sharing with you. I,
yeah,
I
yeah,
was confident you would have already known just in
yeah.
case. So.
No, I know.
Gotcha. So now we come to the last segment, which are, a little bit deep questions. We like to end this podcast on a little bit deeper note. So,
Deeper
first one
than
is
purpose in life. Okay.
that was, yeah, this is the deep segment of the
Okay.
rapid
Okay.
fire
Sure,
round.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So, what are you grateful for?
I am grateful for the life that I've received and that I'm receiving. I'm really grateful for my parents, my sister, my husband. I am grateful for giving me a mind that can think and comprehend things well. I am grateful to have received a mind that can perceive things well, that can learn, that can grow, that can think. So yeah.
Very cool. Pretty much everything, right?
Yeah.
And what's the best advice you have received?
It was from my mom. So I still am an overthinker at times, and I think a lot. And then my mom sort of like, I don't think I will be able to explain it in her way, but she gave me this concept that reality is just now, and once you actually understand the what this means, it's a huge like burden off your brain. Like nothing else is real. What is there is now, and that is it. You don't have to think too much कि ये होगा वैसा होगा. What you have to do is what you have to do now. And that time also, if you're supposed to do something, then you will do it then. You will have the means, you will have the strength in you to do it. So just focus on the now and I think that that's a magic that has been a magical advice that like that has changed me in a lot of ways.
I think I moved into a different plane after listening to that advice.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, okay, I'm just listening to this podcast, and I lost all other senses while I was
Yeah.
listening. So it's very powerful concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think is a key to living a good life?
Just in since I've talked about this, so just know your whys. You be honest to yourself. Know why you want something. Know why you want to do something. Just be honest with yourself. Have open conversations with yourself. Just know why you're doing what. Just be sorted in that. And yeah,
Got it. Be I
be on.
Yeah, I think these questions we have already covered in podcast. You talked about
Yeah,
be happy and have your why. So I think that's
yeah,
Seep's mantra is be
yes,
happy and have your why.
yeah,
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 that sounds like a quote. Maybe that would
yes.
be title of this
Of
podcast.
a
Be happy and know your why.
know your rights. Yeah,
All right. So I think that's all in the last Seep. If there's something you wanna say to anyone who's watching, it's a unique opportunity. If someone is watching this video and you have any advice, maybe be happy and know your why. That's
that
pretty
is
good
there.
advice.
That is
Yeah.
there. Like that will be like my advice now to everyone. Just be happy in life. Know your whys and give your best. Just do all you can because the only regrets that you will have in life would be when you knew that you could have done something more or you could have done better and you didn't. Once, if you ever put your 100% into something, and even if you don't get what you wanted at that time, it's fine. You will not regret it. I'm telling you. You will only regret, like, there is a quote also, I think, that you would only regret the shots that you don't take or something like that. So, yeah, I can end with that. Just do
Gotcha.
your best. Whatever is given to you, just give it your all and take the enough if you're out there.
Yeah.
Be happy then.
Yeah. Be happy, know your why, give 100%. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it. Sorted.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wanna say thank you so much, Seep, for taking time and asking and talking about those
Thank you for
things.
giving me this platform to talk so much about what I do, what I think, and yeah, I
Yeah,
hope it
yeah.
inspires someone to do something good, and I'll be happy. And thank you
Hey,
for giving me this platform, really.
you can be confident that what you speak inspired. It inspired me. So one is already there, and then there
Thank
are many more. And
thank
I
you.
I wanna, I'm curious. I would, once this is done, send it to your parents. Like, hey, mom, dad, I talked about
Yeah,
myself.
I did. Yes, I would
Yeah,
definitely do that.
yeah.
Um,
So it's been a pleasure and honestly my
Pleasure's all
honor to
mine.
to
Oh,
have you.
thank you.
And
Pleasure is all
so
mine.
so thanks on
Thank
behalf
you.
of everyone else. And in future, if anyone have any questions, let us know in comment, or if you
Yes,
want to reach out to Seep, we'll post her Instagram link. If you have
sure.
ideas, you want to contribute, get
Of course.
involved, so we'll
Sure.
do that. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Seep. Take care.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.